record or anything, or are you doing that, Josh?
I just started recording.
Okay, perfect. I like your picture taking, Casey. So, hi guys.
I am taking a picture of it because you're so cute. How do I do it without? I can't do it.
I don't know. I'll take a picture at the end. I always post on Instagram like, oh, look at everyone I'm talking to.
Got it.
Perfect. So
make sure you Photoshop my face in there. It's immaculate. And the random number.
Like immaculate on a stick next to my
I'm here, so I'm not really sure why we need to Photoshop your face. That's weird.
Okay, so just double up and just put same or us. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I think that works.
All right. So I don't have like a massive personal update today. Well, by personal, I mean like business update. But I wanted to do a spotlight because, as you guys know, whenever I find like new products that I'm obsessed with, I get really, really, really obsessed with, and I think everyone needs to use them and everyone needs to know all about them. So I found something new 2 weeks ago that I thought literally all of us could use in some form or fashion, and I've been messing around with it a lot. I've been doing a lot of research, and so I think I've gotten to a point where I can kind of like synthesize that information down for all of you and kind of give you an update of what it is and then like a personal challenge. So while I'm pulling it up, I'll give you guys kind of an update. So I know last time we talked, one of the things I had really mentioned was that I had been super passionate about getting into podcasting. It's something I've wanted to do for over a year, but the barrier to entry in podcasting is super high. You need a lot of resources to get into it, probably like a good amount of money to invest up front on nice like equipment, so that the quality is good. It's really hard to just like post a podcast and then build your network, especially within like the podcast app and stuff. So it's just really difficult. So I've been doing a lot of research and constantly been looking for like ways that I could do that well. And I talked about partnering with people who have more resources than me. And at the exact same time, I just happened to randomly start following this blogger who kind of stumbled into something. And through that, that's kind of how I found this. So what let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you guys today about, hold on, let's do share screen. Yep. Hold on, this is weird. Anchor, here we go. Is a thing called Anchor. Can you guys see this? Okay, see headbands. Oh, let's see if we can get it to present full. Okay, so it's this really cool app on your phone called Anchor. You can put it on tablets or anything. And what Anchor is a free podcasting app and community that anyone can use, and it's super, super easy. So if you see kind of this picture here, this is kind of like what the app looks like. But basically, Anchor was founded with the purpose of being able to podcast your voice, music, conversations, interviews, etc., all for free. It was created in 2015 and was kind of like going on behind the scenes. And it officially launched at South by Southwest last year and became like the big talk of South by Southwest. And then unfortunately what happened was they didn't have a lot of investors, despite being talked about a lot. So much like Vine and Periscope, which kind of stole South by Southwest the year before, they kind of died out because they didn't have a lot of uptake. But most recently, a few months ago, they just closed out a new seed round of fundraising for almost $3 million, including one of those like big people was Gary Vee. And anytime Gary Vee supports anything, I like go all in on it. And then how I stumbled upon it is because I don't think this is actually what they're calling it, but this is what I'm calling it. They did basically like a soft relaunch in August. So they took August 1st to be exact. They took all that money that they raised in March, did a ton of updates to the app, and designated some really big influencers in the blogging world who don't yet have their own podcast, but who were really big in like the Instagram story, Snapchat world, and were able to bring them over. So I kind of stumbled upon it, and it's so, so cool. So basically, what is it? So Anchor has basically taken all of the goodness from radio, podcasting, blogging, Facebook Live, Periscope, Vine, and the concept of like stories, so like Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, and they've combined it all into one app. So literally any single one of us on this app could create a account right now. You just like log in, you create a username, upload a picture, and instantly you can start recording. And so it kind of goes back to the radio days where you can basically go live. And right now I could record a 2-minute segment. I could hit publish and it instantly goes to a feed. And you can do that all day long. And I'll tell you about some of the features with it as well. And then you either can leave your station up for 24 hours and then it expires and it goes away. So again, that like stories concept. Or you can basically, once it's all done, you can publish it all together and it archives it as an episode. So that whole constant stream, all of those individual segments get basically like zipped and wrapped up into one, and then you can name it and put descriptions, etc. And then what makes it cool is it gives you the opportunity to actually edit and cut and put different elements into it, much like you hear in really good podcasts. So you can put background music in it. You can upload any song that's currently on Apple Music or Spotify, even if you don't have the like music, you don't pay the music rights for them. So they give you just those small segments. That's super easy. You can do call-ins from listeners, which I'll get to in a second. And you can also interview people seamlessly through the app. So I'll kind of go through like how it works and some of the features. So like I said, recording is super easy. It's just as easy as doing voice notes on your phone. So it pops up, you hit start recording, you hold the button, you talk for as long as you want, and you hit done. Then you have the option, like I said, to add, you can add full tracks of music, but I think if you actually want to publish them, they have to be under a minute. Then you can add sound bites. So they have this whole library of sound bites of everything from like cheers to people clapping their hands to like a DJ, like soundboard, like anything you can think of, you just kind of like type in, because this example is like Donald Trump. So you can pull other people's sound bites, or you can record a clip that you want to use over and over and over again. And then what is probably one of my, I think is like the coolest feature, is people can also call in to your station or your episodes. Let's say I post something, or I'm Casey and I'm gonna tell some recruiting tips, and then you say, hey, what's your biggest fear or question, or what's the one thing you want to know about interviews? So people can actually call in. Someone chatting. I can't tell if someone's chatting right now. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I just can only see the main slide. I don't know if you've been switching slides or not. If not, that's fine, but.
No, I have actually. That's so weird. Oh, it says it's paused. That's weird. Resume. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries.
Let's see if I wonder if when I present it.
Now I can see it.
Yeah, works.
Now it's lit. Oh, and it paused again. You know what it is? I think when I make it bigger, it stops sharing. So hold on, we'll just make this little thing bigger.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. That was super boring because then I was just rambling.
We love hearing you talk.
Okay. Do you see the videos too, or just the actual? Just.
I don't think video.
Videos.
Well, I mean, like I have you guys pulled up over my slides so I can see your faces and your reactions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
You
can
can
also minimize it if you want. I've got.
Yeah, I think that's like a
personal. So I can see your screen better, but I can make it out bigger if need be.
Yeah, this is so bizarre. Because now can you see it big?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Okay, that works better. But yeah, so now you can see some of like the components of the app. So it has a really nice interface. So like this is if you were recording, this is when someone, if you want to add music and stuff, this is how it, like, if you were to go play someone's station and they had like a voice segment and then they add like a transition song, this is how you would see it. You want to add in clips or something, you can do it here. And then when I was just explaining, so they have this call-in feature. So yeah, Casey says, okay, what's the number one question you have? So people can actually call in and say, hey Case, this is Caitlin. I have this big interview coming up tomorrow, and I've heard that this particular company always asks about like your favorite book. What genre should I pick or whatever? So Casey can either use that audio for two different ways. She can either just listen to it and that's what she uses to produce her content. Or what I'm seeing a lot of people do is they actually take that soundbite, that question, and they pull it into their like episode or station for the day. So Casey would just like click it and say add to station. It would add next, would play all the way through, and then Casey would say, hey Caitlin, thanks for calling in. What I think you should do is blah, 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 blah. So it's very much like that interactive radio style, which is really cool. And just to show you how like seamless it is, I'll kind of pull it up. So when I was messing around with this, let's see if I can find this. I listened to a bunch of people's, and there were some ones that I must have like liked or followed on, and that's what's really cool. You can see who is following your station or who is even just listened. So one of these girls who does like a tech beat every day saw mine. So she called into my station, even though I didn't have anything playing, and like left me the nicest like voice message. So let's see if you guys can hear this.
Hey, what's up? Just wanted to say thanks for checking out my station. If you ever have any questions or comments on tech or anything happening in Silicon Valley, let me know. If I don't know the answer,
So I'll pause that. So just by that, I can now reply back with the message for that, or I can just hit plus, I can add it into my own station and then kind of like give her a shout out and say, hey, you know, Molly, the leader of Silicon Valley Beach, just called in, whatever. So a lot of cool features. Some other cool things that you can do with it. So this I think is pretty huge right now. So it has a really good feature with social media integration where you can actually record sound bites and then write a quick description and instantly publish it to your Facebook and or your Instagram feeds. And so people, if they had the link on Instagram, they could click on it without even having the app. You're now able to listen to the audio, and then it gives the direct link back to your own station. I have a feeling they're going to start integrating this into Instagram as well, but currently it's just Facebook and Twitter. Then this is also a really cool thing, and this is what a lot of videos have started doing on Facebook. So they have this audio to text publishing. So I can actually have like a segment of mine, or let's say an interview, and I want portions of that or the whole thing to convert to text. So as someone's listening, it's actually popping up on screen and highlighting the text as they speak. From a neurological standpoint, that is just really good for people to consume information. But it's also a really nice visual. And so you can, again, take clips and segments of that seamlessly and then upload those to Facebook or integrate it into a new, another podcast or video element. So one of the ways that it's been done in like the blogosphere, like the vlogging sphere, I guess, I'll show you this clip really quick. So before I hit play. So this is a YouTube blogger couple. So what they've done is they now feed all of their questions in from their followers in through Anchor, and then they download those sound bites with the voice thing and then integrate it into their video. So it's really cool. So it's not just so-and-so left me this comment. Now they have the audio component too. So I'll just show you quickly because it's kind of cool how it turns out to look. And this is how it would look on Facebook as well. Let's see if I can get this to play. This is really testing my technology.
For my station on Anchor, that's where I'm getting all of your voice recordings, all of your call-ins, and we're going to answer, I think, 6 of them. Also, Look, I just want people to have fun when they watch this video. Question number 1 comes from a guy named Christian. Let's go.
Hey Jordan, it's Christian, and my question for you was, what is something that is a strong suit for you that is not for Sarah, and what is something that's a strong suit for Sarah that is not for you? And are you getting better at different things that you weren't good at originally by just living together, you know? And
okay, so I'll pause it just so you can see. So what they're doing, they're taking all this, they're feeding it in, and then same thing, they go right back and they're using visuals and they're saying, oh my gosh, Michael, thanks so much for calling in, and da 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 da. So again, now you're not just hearing someone's question, you're actually hearing their voice, so you're making that connection because you know that they're real. But then you're seeing it across the screen as well. So it's just combining all of these ways that people learn best into one platform that you can then export to other platforms, which I think is really cool. Okay, a few more features I think are cool. So they have, one of my favorite things about this whole app is the ability to create communities. So you guys know that I'm big on that in any business that you're in, but Anchor is really big about creating interactive communities. So ways you can do that, obviously with the voice things that you can call in and leave those messages, and then being able to acknowledge those messages on your station. They have this really cool feature called the applause. So if I'm listening to someone and I like, let's say they're on a roll, like they're just giving some mad truth bombs, I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to like them. So I can actually just like tap on the phone constantly, and these little applauses will play out loud if I have my volume turned on my phone. But they'll also pop up along the screen. So kind of like if someone has a Facebook Live, you'll see this now, whereas you react during the Facebook Live, it pops up over their video. But this does the same thing as if you're listening to it. So I'll show you this really quick. Quick video, so you see how it works.
So right now in Mumbai, in some parts of New Zealand, you can get a pizza delivered by drone. One city in California lets you get champagne delivered to your swanky rooftop party. There's a company in London delivering sushi by drone. And for a little while there was a brewery in Minnesota that was delivering beer to people fishing.
So that's a way for people who are listening to you to interact, but you also can see that in your backend analytics. You can see at what points in the conversation or in your episode people are reacting to. And then same thing like the Facebook Live feature as well as Instagram Live, people can actually comment using this comment button live within it. So, and you still get that full transcript. So if I go to an episode, I can see someone who commented as you went live. So you have that opportunity to like post live totally freeform, or you can do recordings and then upload it later. But so you'll see that whole track record of comments, and then you can comment back. And so again, it's creating more of that interactive platform, and it's not so far removed. Okay, so what's next? Oh, and then this other piece, which I think is cool, is they have the integration. So you can create all these episodes, you can keep everything in the Anchor app, but let's say you eventually do want to take it to a different podcast platform. They do all the work for you. You just do create the podcast. They compress it to the file type that it needs to be. They'll help you create like a feature photo. You can add all of these other features again into it, morphed in, and then it gives you the RSS feed that'll feed directly to that podcast portal. So super seamless. So now, for example, like Jezebel will do all of their original broadcasts through Anchor, and then they post that all up to the podcast app within iTunes. Okay, so before I pause, I'll kind of like keep going. So reasons why anyone and everyone should use this, I think, and how you can really use it. So, Ethan Weber just joined. Thanks, Ethan. I just got a notification. So community building. So I know I've talked about this all the time with all of you, but I think the only way for any business to move forward is community building and having a place where people can interact and hear your voice and know that you are listening to them. I think there's a huge opportunity to use it for kind of like a day in the life. And I'll kind of go more into some examples of that. I call this like process journaling. I don't even know if this is a term, but I'm going to coin it. I think there's a really cool opportunity for all of us to use this kind of as like our voice diary. So as you're an entrepreneur, you're going to go through waves of emotions and challenges in your business. And so if you are creating episodes or days where you're just like, here's what I experienced today, or here's what my biggest challenge was, or here are new growth movements in my business, now you have that really cool catalog later where you can look back in a year, even if you only do it once a month, and you can say, wow, a year ago today, my biggest stress factor was that I didn't know how to build a Facebook group. And today I need to hire my second person to manage my Facebook group because it's grown so big. So I think you can kind of use it as like that humbling thing, as well as connect with other people who are in similar stages. I think the interview feature is fantastic. Basically how it works is you can say do interview and it pops up like a telephone keypad. You can either go into your contacts or type in a blank number. And so I could call Martine and literally I can just have a phone call with Martine. We can bullshit or I can ask her questions, do whatever it wants. It goes ahead and it records it and I just hit publish. And if I want to edit it at all, basically I can just say, okay, add sound effects or add background interlude music to this. So that I think is really cool. You can do full podcast series, obviously. And then I also think there's this cool opportunity to do like how-tos. But I'll, again, give you an example of that in a second. And then why it's gold. So super, super, super low barrier to entry. It is currently 100% free. I'm sure at some point that they will add purchase features as any app does. However, Anchor was founded with the principle of giving every person in the world a voice, which currently, because it is so difficult to get into podcasting now, that's not the case. It requires very little skill, and a lot of people are learning on it right now anyway, so like no one cares. You just play around with it. And it's also very little time. So I will say like the sound quality, it's going to pick up whatever your microphone picks up. So if you have a good microphone, like Casey, if we're recording something or you're having a phone call in Starbucks versus on the train in New York versus like your bathroom, you're going to get different quality. It's going to be whatever quality you would hear on a phone. But again, very little time. Number 2.
God help me if I'm recording something in my bathroom.
Well, maybe it's your only quiet space.
I don't know.
There are a lot of lizards in my bathroom, so I'm
in my apartment, that is the closest to a quiet space, just because of the trains that go by all the time.
That could be your thing, though.
That's
Honestly, so many people, like,
my thoughts while on the toilet for a whole month.
I agree with you, Ethan.
You could also do like thoughts on the way to work. So maybe it works for you that you hear the New York City street noises. I used to leave people voice messages all the time on my way to work when I was coaching, just as a side tangent. And I had one girl once tell me, she was like, I really love that I always hear like the New York City cab drivers honking when you're walking to work. Cause then I know like, you're not just reading off a script and you're not bullshitting me. Like you're actually just talking to me in your everyday life and you're like a real person who's busy and has shit to do too. So a lot of people connect with those authentic sounds. Okay, yeah, so number 2, early adopter. I think it's so rare these days for the average layman, I'll call them, to be able to get in early on a social media app. Because right now, anything new that launches goes to influencers first. So even in the Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram world, I have noticed that unless you're a social media, if you are a social media influencer, you will get features months before they're ever put out to the public. So this is one of those rare times where you don't have to be an influencer and you get access to something. And because of that, they have a lot of anchor stations that I've heard them post comments and stuff before. So you can actually call in and say, hey, I thought this feature would be really, really cool. Or what are you thinking about this? And they call you back. So you also, because you're early, you have the ability to kind of shape the future of the app. Again, I'm always going to hit on the building a community thing and giving a legitimate voice to anyone. And I think in the political and social environment that the whole world is in right now, but especially in America, I think that that is so critical. And if we lose sight of community and actually creating conversations, then we are losing sight of like a massive opportunity to actually influence change. And then number 4, and finally, it's just fun and creative and it's silly. And I think it's also so easy for us as entrepreneurs to forget to have those like fun and creative moments, and to also feel like people hear you and they're listening to you. So that would be, those are kind of like my reasons why. And then finally, before I open for questions, because I see the timer is going, there's 10 minutes left. So I did like a practical example for Martine, because when I found this, I instantly texted Martine and I was like, oh my God, I just found the coolest thing ever. So I told her I was going to like keep looking into it. And then this was like a 5-minute brainstorm, but this just shows you all the things that someone, like anyone can use. So for Martine, well, quick sidebar, one of the things I really like about audio is when you hear audio for any person, you instantly connect with their personality. So you can kind of connect with people's personality when you read things, but you're going to connect way faster, or realize you won't connect way faster with their voice. So I think that that's something to leverage. But anyways, things that Martine could do. She could have one whole episode on how to prep, as if I'm an attendee of a Nunchi retreats. How am I going to prep for it? What do I need to bring? What do I need to be aware of? What are things I'm going to learn? What's the day going to look like? How can I expect it, etc. And she can also have like prior participants call in and kind of give their voice notes of how they felt about it, or what they experienced, what it's actually like. And then you can do funny sound effects of like, pots crashing or knives dropping or, whatever. Like, say what? You can also do a day in a life during the retreat. So maybe her next retreat, she throughout the day pops on and says, hey gang, like this is what we're doing next, or this and this. So now as a listener, I'm saying, okay, not only did she tell me what it's going to be like, I can go listen to the actual cadence of one, and it's kind of condensed down. She also could do potential segments or series. So maybe she has a Novice in the Kitchen series where she talks with or kind of interviews people who aren't cooks like myself, but then who are using her tricks and tips either from her blog or her cheat sheets or her mailing, whatever. Do you want to say something, Martine? You're on mute.
You can't say you're not a cook anymore. No, that's not how this
Not anymore, but I was not a cook, and then I went, and now I'm trying to figure out cooking.
Words mean things. Use words. Proper words. Carry on.
Another one that I think I would be really interested in, so I think the way that the world is going to start reverting back to is through storytelling. You already see that through the way that content is being developed now, and the way that people are trying to build communities, and also how you influence change. But so one I think would be really cool is the story behind the meal. So you have your grandma who always cooks this one dish, kind of go through the recipe of that meal and then interview grandma and say, why do you always cook this? What does it make you think of? Or maybe you're talking about a Christmas meal, and so you go into holiday traditions and stuff. You could also do, what are we cooking today? And then the best way to use those call-in features could be either questions like, I just moved to a new city. What are the top 5 things I need to have in my kitchen? And what's cool about these voice messages is they save forever. So let's say you might get one like that, and then maybe a month later you get another one of a similar topic or whatever. And now you start to collect them all, and then you create an episode on that. So it starts to get you to help create content. But then also, Martine, since you asked for reviews today, I would get audio reviews. Have people call in, say what they really think about it. I would have everyone do that anyways now, and maybe ask them like a pointed question, and then you have those all for later, and you can just like slice them in. So that's it. We have 5.5 minutes left. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm out of breath. But in summary, it's amazing. I personally, oh yeah, that was one thing I was gonna tell you. Starting Sunday, I'm personally going to do a 30-day challenge where I just do something on this app, like creating episodes or whatever, consistently for the next 30 days and see what kind of feedback I get, what interaction I get, etc. I have a handful of ideas of things that I want to do, but interviews are going to be a big part of it. And so in like a month and a half, I'll come back to you with reviews. But I would definitely challenge everyone to play with it, and in some way, like I think there's a way for everyone to use it in their business, even if like the best thing you can do too, Casey, maybe you just you audio record all of your blogs. So once a week you post your blog and you also post yourself reading the blog, and it's the audio of it. And that's it, simple. Okay, any questions?
I think you should make it a Habitica challenge.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be even cooler when I download Habitica.
Yeah. I like this. This sounds cool because I don't like to write. I hate being in front of a camera, but I have no problem talking. So
yeah.
I'm excited to try to play around with this a little bit, see what I can do with it. It's cool.
You know what? Actually, how he started using it, I think he might have done a secret name or something. I don't know how he did it, but basically he used to record voice notes all the time on the way to work or whenever he had a random idea. And then he would just like mass email it to his whole team and be like, here's what I'm thinking. So now this is what he'll do. Hey, G. Now this is what he'll do is he'll record like his thoughts or like new things, or just, it'll even be like, hey, people are really talking about this. We should really look into it. What are you thinking? And then like his own team kind of calls in. So it doesn't even have to be edited. I say just like talk.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, I'm definitely down for a Habitica challenge.
I'm down for Habitica. I
mean,
still want to do a whiskey one.
Martine, there's so many things. I actually just had this idea as I was thinking through this, and then I was like, whoa, Kate, chill. The one thing I wanted to do originally with this is I am super passionate, obviously, about female like entrepreneurs, and so I kind of wanted to just get together a huge list and just constantly do like girl chats with women who are entrepreneurs, who are young, or who are just super interested. And have those be my episodes. But then I have this other idea that would kind of be cool to start in the remote year world and then expand out, where I interview entrepreneurs who are at various stages of the career, but the number one caveat is they're currently facing a roadblock or a problem. So that's what they have to bring to the interview, since I love that problem solving aspect. But then if someone, let's say Josh has a challenge he wants to bring up, and he can say, I've tried this, or I've thought of this, or blah, 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 then people can actually call in and say either, hey, I have this idea, or here's a suggestion, or, hey, my name's so-and-so, I actually specialize in that, let's connect. And so then you start to be that funnel of like connecting other people with similar projects or ideas.
We have less than a minute. I will pause recording, send out a new link, and then I'll just merge these together in a second.
Sounds
All right,
good.
see you guys in a sec.
And I feel like it's actually not, there's so many uses for it that it's actually not that intimidating to start. So like that would be, I think, Casey, that would be like the easiest thing for you is to just read your blogs, which actually even be, you could even read your blogs before they publish them. Like you publish it, so you kind of read it, because then as you start reading it, you might be like, oh, that reminds me of this crazy story. And
yes.
Because
Precision Nutrition does that. They have a ton of blog content So their podcast is like The Complete Fitness Professional, and it's really just them reading their articles. But I like it because some of their articles are really freaking long. So I'd rather just listen to them in the car than actually read it, at some point. So yeah, it's a great way to like just double up your content.
Yeah, I totally agree. The only thing I wish the app had, and maybe this will be a later development, I kind of wish there was a way where you could like group, so basically where you have a series and you could group your series and then have episodes within it, because they don't really have it. So for example, if I do a whole segment on like, I would love to do like, wouldn't it be cool if series where I just talk about like random ideas that I've had. I would love the ability that like once I publish that to an episode to be able to tack onto it, and you can't do that yet. But you can, if you're on your PC, you can import old audio files into it. So you probably could strip like RYX files, and upload those.
Oh, cool.
The objective is that these are every segment within like a station or episode is that they are kind of short, and then you break it up. So I have heard people who go on like 20-minute, snippets, but generally they're short, and then you throw in a song or you throw in a sound effect. Gotcha. What's cool too is throughout the whole day, you can just build onto it, and then and it's all live. And then at the end of the day, basically you like zip it all together. So I could record the thoughts in the morning and then throughout the day. Let's say I did like a personal challenge, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago on like mental health for a week. And one of the days was like, try not to complain about anything all day or think complaining thoughts. That would have been like a really funny one to do an episode on and randomly hop on throughout the day on like the horrible thoughts I thought all day, because I realized I complain a lot in my head. So like those things, but then at the end of the day, or if anyone jumps on, they listen to it seamlessly as if it's one episode, no matter what they are. So it's not like, oh, she has this 10-second clip and then this 4-second clip, like it's all different.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. Is there like any, I assume there is, I can look it up, but I don't know if you saw any like YouTube how-to videos of just like how to work the thing or? Tons.
Cool. Yeah, so Anchor has a YouTube site where like a YouTube channel that you can go watch on there. And then there's a handful, of course, bloggers who have said like, here's, you can do this. But it's actually, they have a Medium blog as well that I recently followed because they are doing a lot of updates. And I think what also I'm noticing is like, because everyone is pretty new, not many people have like a strategy behind it. Everyone kind of, and that's kind of the culture, and it's okay. So like, you don't feel like, oh, I can't even create one of these. Well, I have like a 30-day plan of what I want.
Just go with it.
Just go.
Start talking.
Yeah, it's like a coloring book or something.
Dude, I never shut up. I should not have this.
No, as you can tell, I talk all the time.
Like, what topic are we talking about? Everything! Entire goddamn life.
I wish I had this at the beginning of remote year, because I would have like.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
Could you like go back and like listen to some of this stuff too?
Do you know if you could have more than one account linked to your Facebook?
I don't know the answer.
I'll look that up. Because if Martine's doing whiskey and Noonchi.
I think that you could. I think if you have different pages on Facebook, you can link them to different pages. So like I can own multiple like kind of like business accounts. But Case, you could have one for Jumpstart Resume, and you could have a personal.
Right.
I know like to link an account. I think I did it with email. I don't know that I don't know if when I created it with Facebook. I don't even remember. check. The other bonus of being an early adopter is that not many of the URL codes are taken, so I could actually like have my full name.
Ah, very nice.
Like, my birth year added to it. What my Gmail account is currently.
I don't have that problem.
Just get a basic white name and you will have that problem.
Working on it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good.
You get a name like mine, you don't know what I am. You know, it's the afro, and you're like,
True.
There you go. I do know that you can connect. I know you can connect Twitter, Facebook, and phone contacts. So you can actually. I think there's a way. I haven't done that yet.
Twitter, Facebook, Spotify. Yeah.
I have to say, I really love the like music feature. So that was kind of how I like was just messing with it to be like, I did this. I was able to add some into it. So what I saw one person did was they were like the ultimate study hour vibes, and basically what she did is she just compiled like 50 1-minute sections of like songs all together like a radio station, and just kind of did it all through. And I was like, this is such an awesome compilation. But yeah, play around with it. Like, I wonder if I can tell you the sound effects. So they're getting a lot better at like categorizing things. The sound effects are like hilarious. I haven't quite figured out like how to overlay. Maybe I need to actually start recording some things. I haven't quite figured out how to like overlay background music yet. But it's probably because I haven't recorded actual like audio with it. But like they have like, so if you want to curse, right? So like they have the like beat. Like, like they have like a weird DJ one. Like this is a favorite. I don't know, they're just so good. There's so many things. They have a goat. They're really like, you could be so funny with this and just put your own like quirky personality in it. Like, even there's so many things you could do. Oh my god.
Caitlin, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you know if anyone can leave a voice note without having an account, or is it, I guess, when they call in?
I think at this point, you have to have an account to do a call-in to a station. My guess is that they're probably going to develop the feature where you have almost like a station number linked through your phone. That would be my guess. Right now, you have to have an account.
Gotcha.
But you don't have to have an account, I don't think, to listen to a station. So like it'll because I saw.
I guess if you can import audio files, you could import a voicemail.
True.
So it would be quite as seamless, but that's kind of a workaround.
Yeah, and I know that's another thing they're working on. So with the interview feature, you can't call international phone numbers. However, basically like the app that you're calling through that's like processing it, that is the US number. So let's say Anne wanted to use this and wants to interview one of us in the US. She could do that because like she doesn't need a US phone number, if that makes sense. But they're trying to get like the reverse. They're just having issues with like calling fees. There's so many cool features.
Cool. Any more questions for Miss Caitlin, guys?
No, ahora, I like it. It's fun. Set
Yeah. And seriously, if any of you guys want to do like a brainstorm session of like, what the F would I even post on this thing?
My problem is I want to talk about everything.
I know, that's the problem.
I need
So I'm going to have to like,
channels. Like the way I have media separated, I need that.
yeah, that is, they still, I think, have a lot of opportunity from like a grouping perspective. Oh, one of the things they said they're working on, which I think will be really cool, is kind of like the old school like blog roles. So like when you originally, like way back when like blogging communities first started, you almost had like an influencers bar that said like, you know, I wrote this, but here are my top 5 blogs, or here are my top 10 people I follow. So they're working on having something similar. So if you follow me, you could see like my top 6 recommended blogs, or people who like influence me for that.
That sounds like MySpace.
Yeah, similar to MySpace, but I don't think you have to be like necessarily connected with them. It's just like recommending.
Right.
No, I'm excited about it. I think I'm going to use it for like insider previews to the like development process for game design and all that. And I was poking around through like the gaming section, and from what I can tell, there's not really anybody out there that's doing the development side of things. They're just talking about games in general, kind of like a review perspective, I think.
Yeah, and what would be cool, Ethan, is then if you call into those people who are just doing reviews and say, hey, I'm trying to launch this game. Here's the process diagram. Would love to hear your thoughts or tips or what you'd like to know about.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really, really early. It's definitely one of those apps where like, if they don't, I mean, they have really good investors in it now, but like if it didn't take off, like, so, for example, Periscope, everyone thought was going to be this big thing and it was huge. And then it was like, it was too complicated for people to get into. And it was like way too many issues with like Wi-Fi and bandwidth and video. Like people are just like, I do not have time. I think this is different. I think they have the right people on it, but I also think audio in general is easier for people to pay attention. Like I can listen to audio all day at work and it's no big deal. I can, any car that has Bluetooth, I listen all the way to work. And they just this week released an integration with Alexa. So you can say like, Alexa, play my whatever roll, and it goes through your news roll and just like plays it all through it. So that's another. When they announced that, honestly, I was like, that's weird. I felt like that would like, I just assumed they would do that, but I guess its own challenges to integrate new apps, but that is one that they just got through. So, and they have there's actually a lot of good news ones, like news channels on Anchor, just like for your own personal listening that I think are good. And they sound like that true radio news, quality. Like, here's the top 5 today in Algeria. Like, that's my news reporter voice.
Like BBC News morning broadcast.
Exactly. Kind of like the NPR kind of style.
That's my jams, yo.
I know. I love it.
Cool.
Yo, this is awesome, Caitlin.
Yeah, I'm game. Well, I'm down if you guys want to do some sort of challenge in the nearish future, just set that up.
Let's do it. Well,
brainstorm before we actually do it, and then
set it up.
Maybe we have a goal to do like if everyone does at least 2 before the next entrepreneurs meeting.
I agree. That works.
I think that's simple.
Yeah, I like that.
Your team.
1 per week.
Yeah.
I'm going to a board game convention. I got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
We should interview people at the board game convention.
Yeah.
It's also cool too, like just selfishly within our own group. Like it's a really cool way, like if just us six, so they know Immaculate Drop-Off, if just us six did it, we would have podcasts on, well, I just talked about random shit in life, but we would have podcasts about like HR related work and potential and like travel and working remotely, videography and editing, gaming and development, whiskey and food. Like so many cool topics just within us.
Yeah.
I like
Game. All right.
Really
Do before the next meeting. I'm putting it in my Habitica. It's going to happen.
okay.
In the Habitica, it has to happen, yo.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna download it.
It's awesome.
Habitica's
Some
great.
people on this call have gotten lazy on their Habitica. I'm not saying they're Gianna, Ethan names, but
I'm still on the end.
I put my character to sleep.
I know.
I'll wake her up.
Is it like a Tamahachi where it can die?
No, it just sleeps forever. So I guess
It
that's
can
not-
die, but you can check it into an N and have it sleep forever.
Which is dying.
Yeah.
We're going to sleep for
Yeah.
like 3 weeks.
We call that
It's been sleeping for over a month.
Yeah.
I think I need to revamp it or something. It started distracting me from actually working. So I put it to